Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel, the #1 YouTube channel for you to level up your communication skills, learn the art of public speaking, social skills, and personal branding to take your message to the world. For today's episode, we're entering the world of personal branding, and I'm going to teach you how to become an idea machine. One of the biggest fears that a lot of content creators have is, well, what if this is my last big idea? If that's the case, I don't know what I'm going to do for the future. Instead of being in the present moment, focusing on this current video, they start worrying about the next few videos. And this video that they're doing right now, they're very constricted. They're operating with fear. But can anyone ever run out of ideas? No, it's an illusion. Your brain on a typical day gets 30,000 plus thoughts. 30,000 plus thoughts. You're telling me you can't capture one of those thoughts and make a video around that? That's why running out of ideas is just an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's a fear that's making you scared for no apparent reason. All right, Armani, if this is a fear like you say it is, how come so many people have the same exact fear? The reason that a lot of people have the same exact fear is because they don't quite understand what creativity is. We were never taught how to be creative growing up. Instead, we were pretty much born creative, but we were conditioned out of it, and now we're being asked to rediscover it. Creativity in the near future is going to pay your bills. There's so many people nowadays becoming full-time YouTubers, full-time bloggers, full-time podcasters. Stuff that would have been considered a joke back in the days are now paying the bills. Creativity is something that can't be automated. So if that's the case, how come we were never taught how to be creative? It's because it's very difficult to explain. But one of the best ways to explain it is to call it multidimensional thinking. Whoa, bro, that sounds like a very scary word. It is a very scary word, but once you understand it, then the fear starts to melt away. What is multidimensional thinking? Well, basically, the first way to understand what this word means is to ask yourself, what is reality? One of my favorite movies is The Matrix. And when I was watching The Matrix, which makes a lot more sense now versus when I was a little kid, Morpheus asks Neo, what is reality? And Neo's like, what's wrong with this man? What do you mean, what is reality? Look around you. But in reality, what is reality? My shirt, for example, a lot of you guys may be seeing it as light blue. But imagine if a dog was looking at this shirt. Will the dog also see light blue? No. So whose reality is right and whose reality is wrong? Truth be told, there's multi-dimensions to all parts of our world. And people that aren't creative, they just operate in one dimension and say, this is reality. There's no other reality besides this. But I'm going to debunk that theory real quick. When you're dreaming, for example, you start seeing all these different images. A lot of the rules in your present day reality don't apply when you're dreaming. So is that real or is that fake? When you start asking yourself that, you're like, all right, well, yeah, I guess in the dream dimension, that reality is real. Now, what about me right now as you're watching me? Do I look real to you? Well, yeah, bro, of course you look real. I see a bunch of your other videos. It's you. In reality, this is just an illusion of me. Whether you're watching it from the computer or the television, this is simply a digital version of me. In reality, I could be chilling right now. I could be taking a nap right now. I could be going outdoors right now. But what you are seeing is your perception of reality for me. All right, let me just give you one more example, then I'll go on. When you're looking in the mirror, is that you? No, it's simply a depiction of you. In reality, you are you. So when you start seeing this, you start getting a lot of shattering beliefs. You start understanding that different times you have to operate in different dimensions. When I was graduating from my undergrad and transitioning into master's, I was going to soon realize that they operate in two different dimensions. In undergrad, what they reward are tests, you memorizing stuff, you going through different homework assignments, etc. Very linear thinking, very logical thinking. As I was applying for my master's, I had to do a statement of purpose. And the statement of purpose, basically, it's just about you writing an essay on why you want to join the master's. And I had the same logical thinking that I had in undergrad. I was like, all right, well, let me write this essay in resume format. So I was like, well, my name is Arman Chowdhury. I have grades in this. I've been in this club. I've been in this, blah, blah, blah. And I submitted it to my master's program. Soon, the head of the master's program calls me and she's like, yo, Armani, do you have a second that we could talk? I was like, yes, what's up? She's like, I just got your statement of purpose. I was like, yeah, you liked it? She's like, everything else in your document is great. You have great ACT scores, you have great GRE scores, you got all that. But your statement of purpose is not good. And the statement of purpose is one of the most important parts into getting into a master's. What do you mean it's not good? I told you everything that I've been through. I've said it in a very linear way. She's like, that's not what we want. We want to hear your story. What have you truly been through? We get all that stuff that you're bringing up in your essay, that's already in your resume that you're submitting, already in your transcripts. We get all that, but we want to know about your story. Oh, you want to know about my story, huh? And around that time, I was into creative writing, so I was like, all right, if you want a story, that's what I'll give you. And then I redid the whole thing. I did it in story format, and I resubmitted it, and soon enough, I was accepted into the master's program. What happened? Well, it required different dimensional thinking. What worked in undergrad wasn't necessarily going to work in master's. And in master's, it's more about teamwork, more about collaboration. I can count in the number of hands the amount of tests that I had in my master's. But what this goes on to show you is that you never run out of creative ideas. It's simply that you are stuck in one dimension. You need to evolve. You need to ask yourself, am I being a little too niche down right now? You are. Because every single time that you're running out of ideas, the main thing that you have to say is, I'm being too niche down. And then your idea muscle starts to expand. But this is a brand new way of looking into reality, so ease yourself into it. And what's one of the best ways to ease yourself into it? I would say reading a fiction book. Now at first you may be thinking, a fiction book? A fiction book is for little kids. But little kids are very creative. They're always thinking of new ideas. They see the world in a very different way. So acting like a little kid for a certain time wouldn't hurt you. But in reality, why does this work? Why do fiction books work so efficiently if you want to become more creative? Well, think about it like this. Your brain is basically turning words into images, and those images are from out of this planet. So let's talk about science fiction. Let's talk about Harry Potter. Now, I've always been a big Harry Potter fan. A lot of the stuff in that dimension of Harry Potter is not possible in the real world. There's no such thing as wizards and witches and all that kind of stuff. There's no the sorcerer's ball, that kind of stuff. So me actively reading that book is making me actively turn those words into images, those images into motions, and those motions are opening up a new dimension. When you read fiction books, it's pretty much a workout for your brain. For every 3 non-fiction books that you read, you should read 1 fiction book to just keep your brain balanced out. And when you can balance out your brain, you start seeing that there's ideas all around you. There's 2 kinds of problems to have in this world. Not enough ideas, which is an illusion, or having too many ideas. Having so many ideas that you don't think that there's enough time for you to get all your ideas out there. If you ask me, this is a good problem to have. So it starts with training yourself to see that way. When I was graduating engineering, still, I was a very logical guy. Being a storyteller, for example, is not easy. It requires a lot of unlearning. It requires conditioning your perceptions to see and feel and experience different dimensions and being able to bring it all into one. Society, for the most part, what they reward is degrees, the grade scores that you got. But once you get into the real world, you soon start seeing that all that stuff doesn't matter. What matters in the real world is how fast can you learn? How well can you apply what you learn? How can you deal with tough emotions and keep bouncing back? How well can you deal with people? These are the stuff that matters in the real world. I'm not saying that intellectual knowledge is bad, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. Everything underneath the iceberg is the stuff that I just mentioned. People skills, emotional intelligence, storytelling, etc. All this stuff right here requires multidimensional thinking. So if you're someone who feels too strict, who's very stuck in their ways, you should think of this as a huge liability. Being stuck in your own ways is a very, very bad way to perceive life, because you're not really perceiving life, you're only perceiving your own reality, which I've said throughout this video is just an illusion. It's simply what you're only experiencing, but you don't have much perspectives. In the future, creativity is going to pay your bills, is going to be your ultimate competitive advantage. One of the things that you are seeing with technology is that it keeps rising and rising and rising. And there's fear. There's fear all around different industries where they think, is a computer going to take my job? And I've seen it happen. I've seen computers and algorithms and software take people's jobs before, especially in the engineering industry. And if this is a worry that you have, then you need to start reading fiction books quicker. You need to start reading fiction books right once you're done with this camera. Fiction books in itself is just one part of this entire picture. But the ultimate thing that you are doing is you're conditioning your ways into learning about multi-dimensional thinking, which is the future. It's actually the present right now. If you're not doing multi-dimensional thinking, it's never too late. In the description box below, I'm going to drop a few of my personal favorite fiction books that I normally recommend to others. And you could check out those fiction books, or you could just reread some stuff that you read as a little kid. Relive that stuff. And every single time that you're running out of ideas, keep bringing multidimensional thinking back into your world. You never run out of ideas. So ultimately, this whole title of this video is sort of an illusion. You don't need to become an idea machine. You're already an idea machine. You just gotta take out the limited perspectives that you've been conditioned with. Picture yourself driving a car. Your entire life, you are just looking in the windshield in front of you. You completely ignored behind, right, left, this. You ignored all of that. What I'm trying to do is bring you back into your reality. You already have everything that you need. You already have all the tools. Now it's simply about becoming aware of it. So when you're driving now, you have new perspective to look to the left, look to the right, look up, etc. Creativity opens up doors. Creativity opens up opportunities. And most importantly, creativity shows you your untapped potential. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'll catch you on the next episode.